I don't know. I just don't put him at peak form right now.
Yeah.
And maybe he'll prove us wrong. But we are now loaded into the game, and the 8-time back-to-back champion, I want to say, in the top left-hand side for this region, it is Juanito SpeCial for Storm Game.
And his opponent, going for his patented 14 Overlord. For Team GP, it is the challenger Cham. Cha-cha-cha.
Is that what he does, 14 Overlord?
Yeah, he does it like all the time. And I don't know why. I truly despise it. It's not a huge difference, but it's just mathematically slightly worse, you know?
Well, he must know something. We should ask him, because there must be some sort of a difference that he gets from it. Otherwise,
yeah.
I don't see, because someone would have told him, right? Yeah. Someone would have been like, hey, why do you 14 Overlord? And if he can't justify it, surely he would change it. Cham is a very receptive player as well. Like, he's the type of player that will seek advice and will seek improvement. So I'm sure he has some sort of a reason. I just have no idea what it is.
Oh yeah, no, I'm quite certain there is a method to it. There is a method to the madness. And you can see that he gets the pool before the gas as well, so maybe it's got something to do with that. He wants the pool just a little bit faster against like a proxy 2-Rax.
Oh, interesting. Is it just 14 then Overlord?
Yep. No extractor trick, no nothing fancy on tap. Yep.
And then
still a 16
pool?
hatch.
16 hatch and then pool.
Yep.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
To think on that. That might be a slightly earlier pool, perhaps.
It is definitely an earlier pool, but he also cuts the gas, and that's where he gets the earlier pool from anyways.
Right.
So it doesn't, like, delaying the Overlord doesn't seem to get him anything, is I guess what I'm saying.
Well, it definitely gets him a drone a little bit earlier, right? Like, whether that translates into something or not. Because it gets him a drone a little bit earlier at the expense of getting the next 2 drones a little bit later.
Exactly, yeah. And I feel like the 2 drones a little bit later still translates to more income overall.
Probably,
otherwise, everyone would just 14 Overlord.
Yeah. And that's the key is overall, it's definitely probably better. But I wonder if that gives him some sort of a different, I don't know. It's just
maybe at like a very specific moment he has a couple of extra, like he has like 5 extra minerals that let him get the pool. But like that's
right.
And like at that point you'd be better spent to focus on making sure all your drones, like your worker split is as perfect as possible and everything else. Like it doesn't make a ton of sense to me. But we've got something we got to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, SpeCial's been doing this a fair bit recently in this matchup. Cool. It is the reactor first into a 4 Marine move out and a bunker at the 3rd base, and he's going to follow it up with Hellions. Queens have to come off creep to deal with this. Creeps or speed, Zergling speed is not going to be even close to completing. This is nasty to deal with, and the position looks very good for SpeCial's units.
Yeah, it's especially a little bit of a harder punish to Cham because he does trade that gas, right? So link speed is going to be even further from completing them for most players. And these Marines should be able to get in the bunker unless the SCV falls. Oh! The last second, that's huge, actually.
Oh my goodness.
Well dealt with by Cham in the end there.
That was so close to being a huge problem for Cham.
Careful, though. Don't chase Hellions out of creep.
Oh, hello? Oh, he's... Okay. Well, he loses like 5 extra Zerglings. And that makes that go from like a really phenomenal hold into... Still a good one, but like... You're not as excited about it anymore.
Yeah, for sure. I know exactly what you're saying. And knowing that he killed those Zerglings, SpeCial is going to venture onto the natural expansion, hoping to find Cham caught off guard. But Cham did remake some Zerglings, so good on him for doing that.
Ooh.
And anticipating that this could be an option. SpeCial's only going to get 3 drones for 4 Hellions. Not a good trade for him, and forfeits map control in the process as well. So it's all up to these Banshees to do damage. Otherwise, Cham is in a pretty great position to start us off in this series.
Yeah, I was just going to say, with the death of those Hellions and not really getting too much more damage, I actually love Cham's position now. He starts up that layer. He's got spores on the way. It looks like he tried to start a spore at this 3rd base, but it got blocked. Oh, no. And that is exactly where the Banshee is coming on in. No, idiot drone.
Idiot drone, I hate him. And now this creep tumor is going to suffer the ultimate fate as the Banshee tries to encroach here, but it's going to be fended off by the Queens, so that's good. And Cham looks at his mineral line as a result of the Banshee coming there, so he will notice that spore didn't build. No reaction from him as well, at least facially. So yeah, he's gonna be fine. Creep spread is good, and things are looking good for Chamaco.
Yeah. Did he get a... No, he didn't get a quick Baneley Nest. Okay, so he gets it now, basically after the layer finishes. That kind of nullifies a little bit of the advantage of this relatively quick layer, which is to say being able to get a quick Bane speed, but it is going to be a Spire behind this, and this is something Cham loves to do in this matchup, is he loves to go Mutilating Bane.
Yeah, that is definitely in his playbook, and we'll see what he's able to accomplish with that, as now SpeCial is going to go in and catch a queen off or away from the other queens, so it doesn't get transfused. The Spore is going to fend off the Banshees for the time being. But yeah, I mean, a couple more drones, a queen fall there. Good poke from SpeCial.
That was a very full energy queen as well, and Cham is actually cutting a lot of queen production in order to go for this Spire. He was on 6 queens, now he's only on 5. So that's going to mean his creep spread is, his creep spread is very good right now, but it's like 4 tumors, basically, 4 active tumors that are just spreading out in specific pathways. So he doesn't have that like flowering effect. But if SpeCial, with the loss of those Hellions, he can't really contest the creep anyway, so it's actually totally fine for Cham. Another couple of drones will get picked off. I think I would like to see those spores reposition a little bit to kind of try and cover more of the actual mineral line, because he's only got one actually covering the mineral line, and the gas is kind of left open a little bit. I'd love to see him kind of shift the one on the left, down a little bit.
I see. Is it? Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it looks fine. Can we look at it again? Now I'm wondering. So where's the gap?
Just shifted down like 2 spots, basically, because the Banshees were able to get in there. They were able to find a couple mineral lines that were a little bit more exposed. I mean, the queens should still be able to deal with it, but yeah, it's like a very small nitpick, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Alrighty, so we see a little bit of the army posturing here onto the creep, just looking to clear things out. Who would you give the advantage, like even accounting for names? Who do you think is going to win this game right now?
I think it's going to be Cham.
Yeah, I think I like it for Cham as well.
Yeah, the mutas came in from the top side. I was just going to say, SpeCial doesn't know about these mutas yet, and this is actually looking very good. Marines are going to be forced to sim forward. There's actually too many Lings for them to fight right here, and they will be forced to run away once again. Cham does kill off that second medevac again. Now he's not going to be able to break through, but he is super far ahead in supply.
Mega Giga.
Yeah, Mega Giga. Cham is very late on his upgrades, but that is part of what he wants about this Mutilating Bane. Losing 2 of those meters right there. Okay, that's pretty painful. But he's still in a great spot.
Yeah, the problem for him is upgrades, right? Like, SpeCial is already starting 2-2. He's just now started 1-1. But yeah, otherwise, outside of upgrades, really good for Cham. And getting those Muta out unsuspecting, like you pointed out, like SpeCial didn't know about those Muta. They are so powerful at clearing these little pokes. No Spore here, no Overseer nearby either. He's going to start morphing one now, but these Banshees are going to get the banquet of their lives here as far as drones are concerned. So Cham smartly brings one of those Spores, the one that you didn't like, and he is actually gonna put some circlings in the middle line as well to make it harder for the Banshees to actually find drones. But SpeCial will find drones elsewhere, 14 all day, and these Banshees will die a hero's death if they even do.
Cham? Where the...
Cham?
Hello?
Cham?
Cham? Hello? Oh my goodness, this is so much damage. Where are the mutas?
17.
I mean, Cham is going to be able to re-drone, but that gets SpeCial right back into the game instantly.
Yeah, if not in an advantageous position. I mean, he's taking a forward 4th now. One of the queens will eventually have to deal with the Banshees, and she must be fuming at those Mutalisks.
She did successfully throw her darts at them, and they fell out of the sky, so that's something.
That is something. The Mutas are once again going to expose themselves to damage from the Marines, but none of them end up falling. One stranded Marine will fall here on the sidelines. And yeah, SpeCial very much stabilizing, especially because of those upgrades that we were talking about. And now he is going into Thor. So these Muta are going to start losing efficiency, effectiveness pretty soon here. So we'll see if Cham can capitalize on this little move out here from SpeCial. Not going to get this round, however. And going up the ramp is going to be a little bit too sketch. So Chamaco will back away.
Nice little micro on those mutas, though. Able to get a couple of nice... I didn't think he had an angle for the mutas to shoot, but he was able to get them to shoot a couple of times. Took down... It wasn't much, but 2 Marines, you know? I'll take 2 Marines for free if I can get it. I can't, but Cham was able to there, so good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, let's see what happens here. It's going to be more Muta just backing away. There is now Marines and Gradual Border not being paid attention to this Muta. Have just not been ideal for Cham here. They have just been very disobedient.
He just lost like 5 Mutas right there. We are going to see a huge... Oh, this is not the move. There's a lot of Marines in the natural. Tanks are going to try and keep his base alive, but it will go down. And he does get a fair number of SCVs as well. This might force a push out of SpeCial.
Yeah, I think so, right? Like, he's up in upgrades. That was a ton of Banelings, and he has been trading pretty effectively against Cham here for the most part, right? He's managed to kill quite a few Muta, and Cham really, I mean, not finding the damage that he has been looking for throughout this game. Now starting his 2-2, but SpeCial already has his completed, and things are looking pretty difficult for Cham now.
Yeah, this is an amazing spread for SpeCial, but very, that was like 10 Marines that just went down for a lot of that. This drop in the main base going pretty much uncontested. Cham not responding to it at all. And Adrenal Glands and 2-2 are on the way here for Cham. But SpeCial's army, like you said, is just gigantic. And these, man, Cham, he really needs to deal with these drops and run-bys more effectively. If he could have been able to, he probably would have run away with this game by now.
Yeah, really getting out multitasked by not that much going on at this point, right? Is what it feels like. It just doesn't feel like the level that we are used to from Cham. But this is a beautiful surround. Comes from every angle here. And the Muta, they're not even gonna magic box, but it doesn't matter. It is enough here for Cham to get the cleanup. And he is actually gonna come out of this with a supply lead. A SpeCial was a little bit slow to reinforce. Those Banelings now exposed up of creep, though. You gotta back away. And if Cham had retreated right there and then, it would have been good. But losing those extra 5 to 7 Banelings is gonna make this hold still kind of difficult. SpeCial trying to close in on his advantage. Does get rid of most of those Banelings.
There was one Bane that was underneath the Mutas. He actually used the Mutas to hide them so that SpeCial could not target fire. And he loses a couple of Mutas for it, but he gets a decent connection. He gets like 5 or 6 Marines. Takes a little bit of the wind out of the sails. And I think it might be enough right here. Now this positioning, oh my god, the tank fire on those Banelings, very good. But there's not enough Marines to cover against the Mutas. The Thor is very low on HP. It will be juggled quite nicely here by SpeCial. Cham, the Mutas, Cham, please. You gotta be careful. Oh man, we can't lose those Mutas. Okay, he does take down the Thor, and he's still up in army supply, and he's 25 workers ahead, and now his 2-2 will complete. Yeah. So he weathers the storm.
More than that, right? Because remember, he actually took that base down as well, and he is at 84 workers. So, I mean, this was an attack that kind of had to work for SpeCial, and it sort of did. He still keep an upgrade, so he still has some advantages to play for and with. But definitely, I think the advantage of the game goes back in favor of Cham here after all of these altercations. So, kind of crazy, just off of that one big surround. And we can see the layout for that surround just in where the creep is, right? Like the launch pads are all there on the sides, and he collapses onto the area that didn't have creep, but it may as well have had creep because all of the units got there as fast as they could until they, just basically collapse onto the army from every angle. So great engagement from Cham there.
A phenomenal engagement and exactly what he needed after a couple of rough setbacks. 3-3 does now complete for SpeCial, and this is his next big scary timing, and it is a long one. Chitinous plating not yet done, but more importantly, the 3-3, well, maybe not more importantly, chitinous is pretty huge when you're going for those ultralists, but the 3-3 is a long period of time away from finishing on up. Now, SpeCial is going to stim a Marine in. He sees that base and he sees the gases are taken. And that's going to make him probably feel like he needs to get something done here. I feel like he should know that he can't just sit back. Now Cham is on 96 drones.
Yeah, but the timing of SpeCial is closing really fast here, especially because his army is so very Marine heavy. Now adding some Marauders, so basically definitely sniffs something is going on. But he has 5 out in the field with 3 in production at a time. That's not going to be enough to contend with this Ultra, which, like you were mentioning, already have the chitinous planing as they spawn. So, yeah, I think SpeCial might have to tuck tail and run here. A little bit slow in the split, but we'll get them at the end of the day. And now a little bit of an attempt at a counter offense from Cham, which will draw SpeCial back and buy him further time. I would love to see an Infestor or two from Cham, but otherwise, looking pretty good.
Yeah, a nice little catch right here on this army. Does lose a lot of Banelings on the right side, but he catches the army a little bit pinched against the side, and Cham should just probably disengage. He's going to try and take the fight. The Ultralisk is going to get it on top of the tank, and that is actually going to help out a lot. The Mutas go for the high ground tank. They will have to pull back. They're getting mowed down by those Marines. Cham, once again, the Muta control is not up to snuff, and he's going to lose all the Ultras. He'll take down this final tank. But he just lost so much stuff.
SpeCial knows it.
Probably going to lose a couple bases now. Oh, Cham needs to save the drones. Oh, he needs to back the hell. Cham, no. He's going to leave this base, and those drones are now trapped.
Yeah, so yeah, great job from SpeCial there, recognizing that he can counter-attack. I don't blame Cham for going, because as far as like army composition is concerned, it was Ultras versus Marines primarily. But it doesn't end up working for him. Like, he just gets a little bit kited too hard. That's where the Infestors would have come in handy.
Yes.
And or an Infestor, right? And yeah, I mean, SpeCial now well back into this game. I wouldn't call it over yet. Just compositionally, it's not going to be the easiest fight, but if Cham keeps throwing away Ultras like this, it's definitely gonna make it a little bit easier for Juanito.
Yeah, and the number of drones that went down, he lost like 20 drones nearly. We are seeing an engagement. Ooh, pretty big connection from those Banes to start things off. Not a lot behind these Ultras, but yeah, it is just Marines, like you said. And nice job, he actually splits 2 of the Ultras off to attack the tank, and then the other 3 do go forward. Yes, those Infestors are exactly with the Docker Roach. It's important to note there's no planetary at this topside base. So if SpeCial loses a fight hard enough, he is going to have that base completely forfeit. He is just not going to be able to hold it. Like, it's just an orbital right now. Ooh, he's adding on the Vipers as well. I do like this. If he can get a Fungal Growth Blinding Cloud combo on, you know, the army, he can completely shut it down. He can also go for a Fungal Growth Parasitic Bomb combo on a bunch of the Medivacs. There's a lot of options here for Cham.
Yeah, I think that Parasitic Bomb will probably be the best one, or just dislodging those Liberators, anticipating maybe that SpeCial wanted to go for them, because otherwise the utility of the Viper is not that great. Like, you can sure Blinding Cloud the Marines, but they were probably not outputting any damage anyway. But against those Liberators, they're definitely going to be really helpful. Against the Medivacs, like you were saying, they're going to be great with the Parasitic Bombs. And if there were Hydras, then the Abducts would be pretty viable against those two, or if there were enough tanks to justify Blinding Clouding those, but there isn't that many. So yeah, I mean, this game is definitely going the distance here, and it is still very much anyone's game.
I do like what SpeCial's doing here. He's decided that, okay, I need to go for some multitasking. My opponent has been struggling against that a little bit in the early game. Why don't I switch gears and go back into it? And he finds himself a base on the bottom left side. He does, of course, need to be careful with those Vipers and as well the Infestors on the field. It is going to be extremely difficult to get out of... Like, if he gets Fungal Growth Parasitic Bombed with a bunch of units, or even a bunch of fully loaded Medivacs, he's just going to lose 40 supply so quickly.
Yeah. Only 2 Queens out on the map, by the way, from Cham, and they have full energy on both of them, basically. So they have been a little bit lazy. Maybe they should at least transfuse the Weekend Ultra. Yeah, good fortified position here from SpeCial to deny that base again, and on the right side of the map, he's going to do the same to that other base. No cancel again.
It feels like SpeCial is really taking control of this game at this point. A nice snipe on that one Ultralisk. He's going to go for another couple of them, and with just Ling Bane... Oh, actually, the wraparound comes in. Will force these units to lift up. No, where's the Viper's Parasitic Bomb? He's focused on the drop on the bottom side. And SpeCial, once again, really taxing the multitasking of Cham, and Cham is struggling to keep up.
That seems to be the theme of this game, right? SpeCial really just pulling Cham apart. Cham has had great engagements, great tactics, and good decision-making as far as what units to make and when. It's like, yeah, I really have liked his decision-making, but his mechanics have just not kept up here.
Yeah, unfortunately not. It's tough. It's really tough to deal with those multi-pronged drops if you can't jump on top of them, if you can't stay on top of them. They do require a lot of attention, and you can look kind of brutal if you don't. Now, actually, it's SpeCial who struggles a little bit with the multitasking right there on the bottom side, losing pretty much all the bio units, but now the ghosts are out. And that means these Ultras, I mean, what are they going to do?
They're going to get sniped, that's for sure. But unless this Infestor has something to say about that, right? Like, if the Infestor can come and fungal the Ghost from downtown as they are setting up for the snipes, of course, there's the dance of the EMP as well, or the snipe onto the Infestor itself. But yeah, that Infestor can be a game saver here for Cham. If he can still get a good fungal and then have the Ultras collapse onto the army of SpeCial, if he finds it clumped up, that is still game ending. So SpeCial still has to be pretty careful, but definitely has all the pieces that he would want to play this sort of game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think at this point, Cham doesn't. He just doesn't have the next stage to deal with this. He doesn't have, you know, a massive economy, so he can just throw waves of units at his opponent. He doesn't have a ton of, well, he doesn't have Broodlords, for example. He doesn't have, you know, a bunch of spores to help support those Broodlords. He is adding on that Greater Spire, and that's definitely something that he needs. But at this point, SpeCial's economy is big enough that one fight isn't just going to win the game. We are going to see an attempt to take down some ghosts. It looks like he gets a couple of them snipes. Boom, there goes the Ultra.
Yeah, brutal camera work there from Niall as well, showing that Queen's still not injecting or doing anything really with their energy, right? So that really limits the potential for Cham. If we look at the units tab, we see that there's only 19 larva. So that is very easy to spend larva, right? Like, or very difficult, very easy to waste, right? Like you don't have the option basically to remax on Circlings. You basically just have to make Ultras. Good, I mean, good snipes, but followed by even better fungal. That's clear a lot of those ghosts.
That was like, what, 2 Ultras and a fungal and a few Banes for like 8 ghosts? That's pretty darn good for the Zerg. And that actually does... Okay, there's still 8 more ghosts on the field.
He's making links, though. You know what that means? I mean, he can't afford to make a lot of links. He has to be really careful or start injecting. one or the other.
Well, he's on 7 hatcheries, so they do generate a lot of larvae on their own natively. Like, they just generate larvae. It's pretty decent. But without injects, it makes the macro a little more difficult in a different sense. Ooh, we are going to see a step forward coming on in. Snipes will come on in. Nice fungal. It doesn't catch the ghost, though, and there's not enough Banelings to follow it up. This Swarm Host, by the way, that was made by accident is so funny.
Yeah, I love him. You know, what I've started to do when I make Swarm Host by accident is just burrow it somewhere. So that it at least doesn't, you know, follow my army, and then you just, whenever you see it, you just...
You just, pop it, Yeah, you could actually do a surprising amount with just, like, 1 to 4 Swarm Hosts.
I mean, at the very least, you're going to have your opponent's map pinging, right? Like, hey, look here.
We are going to see these Broodlords actually start to move forward and getting some good work done. There's only, there's 3 Thors on the map, and they are +2 Thors. These are also +2 Broodlords. Another base does go down, but there's no minerals really at it. Cham, the snipes. Oh, wow, I think they were all targeted on the same Broodlord. They only got 1.
Yeah, actually a little bit.
That was actually a huge opportunity for
this Ultra suicidal, though. We'll get popped. Fungal! Didn't get it.
Oh, nice EMP.
Huge flank. And Cham, I mean, he's diving onto this army right now. He's leaving the Broodlord behind. The Banelings are chasing after the Ghost. I don't think he'll ever connect onto those, and you need a lot of Banelings to actually kill a Ghost. So you gotta be pretty careful with that. The Swarm Host is still here, but Cham with a very strong position.
Yeah, the Lings and Broodlings just killed all of the mech power units.
Oh no,
there's no detection. The Ghosts, once again, they sniped the same Broodlord. What?
He has died multiple times then.
That's done that twice, yeah. And now a nicely placed Overseer here. The Banelings will crash in on a lot of Marines. Thor is going to tank very effectively at the Ram.
Has fungal. Infestor has fungal available. That would be crucial. If he can land it onto the sniping Ghosts, that would have been wonderful, but it falls instead. Doesn't matter, does it?
No, he's broken through.
Yeah, it looks fantastic for Cham right now.
He just needs to back away from this planetary. He doesn't want to engage in this planetary. The Broodlord count is still decent, but it's not that high. He wants to go for the production right here, and he is using Caustic Spray to burn it down. That. Very nice. The Ghosts are out of energy. Cham has done it here in this game number 1 after 24 minutes on Moondance.
Not the cleanest game by any means, by any stretch of the imagination, but Cham with very good engagements, very good tactics, very good decision making as far as what units to make. Again, mechanically, by far not the cleanest game you'll see today, but I mean, to beat a player of SpeCial's caliber, it says all that much more about like his tactics and his decision making, I think.
Yeah, and that Broodlord switch, I mean, you hit the nail on the coffin. Like, that was the missing piece, and he got them. He got them, and SpeCial was not really prepared for it. SpeCial also lost like 6 or 8 Ghosts going into that fight. There was a few of them that multiple times, I'm pretty sure, where he just spam clicked the snipe and must have clicked snipe like 7 times on the same Broodlord, because you saw it, right? Like you saw all the ghosts do their snipe. They wound up for it, and then just one Broodlord died, and it happened twice. I want, like, if he had done that and, you know, successfully snipes down 3 Broodlords each time, I feel like the game might actually have a completely different outcome, because it was incredibly even going up to that point.
Yeah, and I think it's a very good point you make that a lot of the ghosts fall right before the Broodlords were morphed, right? Like that was like, what 7 ghosts or something going down right before with full energy. So that could have made a difference. The fungals were crucial as well. And yeah, I mean, SpeCial didn't really have any Thors out already. I think he started producing Thors kind of like in panic mode, no Vikings as well to speak of. So it was all up to those ghosts, and having 7 of them taken out, and Cham just being very decisive, right? Like every time he had a timing, he used it, and that is commendable. So, I mean, SpeCial hanging on there, and I really thought he had control of that game multiple times, but Cham finding the right units and the right compositions to claw his way back and takes game number 1.
Yeah. That was well done. I'm just rewatching the engagement. It looks like in the second time when he kind of caught the Broodlords out a little bit, he did get 2 snipes on the Broods, so he's able to kill 2 Broodlords.
Wait, are you in the lobby? Because this game is
I'm in the lobby. Yeah, no, I'm looking at the broadcast.
Oh, okay.
Got the delay. But yeah, Cham, great start for him. And we're gonna get into this one. We'll see if he can repeat or if this man can challenge. Spawning down in the bottom left for Sidestorm Gaming, it's SpeCial.
And in the top right-hand side, it is the best Zerg player ever to be produced from Mexico. It is Chamaco.
Jim Rising fans in shambles.
Jim Rising fans in shambles.
Do you think we should see a different game plan here from SpeCial? Obviously, his macro game is still very good, but I mean, Cham was able to take him down. Do you think we should see anything funky out of SpeCial, or is he just going to be like, no, I just need to make a couple of small adjustments. I can't afford to get caught off guard by the mutas. Like that is really what set the game into a great position for Cham, and SpeCial still almost turned it around a few times.
Yeah. I mean, this is the same SpeCial that lost 2 eggs, right? And you hate to make excuses on behalf of SpeCial, and I think he was very gracious in his interview and the way that he put it, but he is playing from Korea. He is waking up extremely early and playing with a ping disadvantage, and you know, it's probably just tiring. So I don't think we're seeing 100% form SpeCial. I think that he shouldn't try to do anything gimmicky, because it's just not the type of player that he is. He needs to play to his strengths. He just needs to slap himself in the face a couple times, drink some coffee or something of the sorts, and just play tighter.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, because you are right. It's like 5:30 a.m. in Korea right now, right. I think. And that begs the question, is he still awake, or is he waking up?
And either way, it's a tough one, right?
Yeah, it's not good either way. It is quite literally the middle of the night. Like, this is, for some people, that's when they start their morning, but that's not gamer hours. For gamer hours, that is the middle of the night for sure. But of course, it's still, I believe it's still being played on West server. Mm-hmm. So it's not as though Cham has, it's not as though he has 20 ping or 30 ping playing against a player with 200 ping. It's more like Cham probably has like 80 ping, 60 ping, 80 ping probably, versus a player that's got like 180 to 200.
Right. That's pretty bad.
That's pretty bad. When I say it out loud, I realize I'm like, that's not comfy at all.
It is not, but yeah, I mean, like I was saying, like, you know, like SpeCial in his interview was very gracious. He kind of pointed to these things being truths, and then the chat was even harsh, and they were like, oh, making excuses or something. But he even gave credit to Eggs for, you know, playing very well, and I thought he was very gracious in the way that he put this. But it's a fair thing to point out too, right? Like, it is, because if you expect this guy to dominate the region, and to just beat up everyone and to be the best player, then you shouldn't drop your expectations on the back of him not playing under the best circumstances. He is still a very, very, very strong player, competitive at the highest level with the best in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. He's more than capable of going toe-to-toe with just about anybody on an on day. Now, we are going to be seeing SpeCial going for the fast third command center. I mean, it's Cosmic or rather Tropical Sacrifice. I always confuse the names, even though I know exactly which map is which. It's Tropical Sacrifice. It's a big map. Probably the biggest, most macro-oriented map we've got in the pool. So makes sense that he would go for the most accurate, more macro-oriented play. He's going to go for a run-by once again. There's no ling speed here. Cham never started it, but he will still be able to deal with this very nicely so far.
Oh. SpeCial almost getting a drone there. Will get a drone, actually, for his efforts. And
oh, my God.
Maybe manage to evacuate this sniper. Looks like he will.
God.
Good job.
Oh, that's the most painful feeling as a Zerg player you can experience. Oh, it's so frustrating.
Yeah. But I mean, I think our observer, Niall, did a great job of catching just how chaotic the situation was, right? So difficult for Cham to really react on both sides, and SpeCial once again taxing his multitasking early this time around. Now going for Liberator, so likely to do a little bit more of that.
Yeah, and to be clear, I'm not losing the drone. That kind of sucks, but you're like, whatever. But when the Reaper, you look at its HP and you're like, that Reaper's dead. That Reaper never gets to live. And then it just survives, and you're like, David Kim, where are you?
Yeah.
Obviously, that's just how the Reaper functions, and, you know,
He's
great
fast,
Viper for SpeCial to keep it alive. But,
yeah,
like,
very good.
It just feels so frustrating to have that get away.
It does, but it's not like Cham had an opportunity to not let it get away, right?
Yes,
like it's
no,
not like
it
he
was
messed
always
up his micro. It was just on SpeCial, like creating the distance and whatnot. Ooh, nice snipe.
Good job from Cham to get the units out of there. It will be a Roach Warren coming on down from Cham, as you anticipated going into this series, but he is getting ling speed. Oh man, SpeCial is really looking for an opening here. He really wants to get in and find some damage.
Yeah, and here comes the Liberator. It will get spotted by 2 Overlords actually in passing, so great job from Cham there on his default setup.
Ooh, nice. And it allows him to reposition this Spore.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, he's not going to be able to get any damage, but he will be able to zone the Liberator out, and that's pretty big. Ooh, now the Lings. Oh, okay, not so bad. Good defense, actually. Great defense out of Cham. Really well done.
Yeah, all the credit to these Overlords, right? Positioned right outside of creep. So I think that yeah, a lot of people will look at games like this and think, wow, StarCraft's so difficult, like you gotta do so many things. But I think that the more adept you become at doing the basic things, such as having creeps, such as spreading your Overlords early on in the key positions and whatnot, the easier it becomes to play, because Cham actually gets a heads up that a lesser player wouldn't get by not having those Overlords in position, and is able to actually have extra time to play with, to put to reposition the Spores, like you were saying, to make sure that the Queens are in position, and then the Liberator is basically funneled onto the same base that the Hellions have to attack, which means all of the Queens are already concentrated there. No problem at all in defense for Cham.
As a lesser player, I can tell you it is much more difficult to deal with the Liberator, as when you get the alert...
Because it just pops out of nowhere, right?
It pops out of nowhere and kills 5 drones, 10 drones, 15 drones, and you're like, oh, all right. But yeah, no, Cham has always had extremely good Overlord positioning, really good at covering his paths. The medevacs are going to get here basically after the stim. I like that SpeCial just went for it, and he's actually going to pick off all of these Lings. Queens are adding on some good DPS, so he will pick away at the Marine count as well. Going to prevent this from, kind of getting out of hand. But it is that Roach play, like you were saying in the pregame.
Yeah, I mean, Cham really likes this Roach play. I think that's why we saw SpeCial take to the Banshees in the last game, and I thought that might be his approach throughout this series, especially with the fast 3CC that we saw in the series, or in this game. But yeah, SpeCial might be caught unsuspecting yet. Oh, these Hellions are nasty, though. Nasty.
Sick nasty. They're going to get in here. They're going to find a lot of value. Now, the Roaches are going to commit onto the other side of the map. A lot of drones falling. This is going to get weird. How many tanks are there? SpeCial was going for Widow Mine.
Oh, that one's hurting. Yeah, that one's hurting. Soaks up a big shot. The second one's going to be good, though.
It does splash on the SCVs a little bit. Overseer will get taken out. That means no detection.
Yeah, I want to see if those bios landed. I think that decided the game. I think they landed, actually. Because the bio is gone. I would love a replay of that.
Oh my goodness.
Because I thought the bio and the SCVs were going to hold, but if the bios landed, then this is what would have happened, I think. So I think they landed.
Cham, he's up like 70 supply right now. Yes, it is a Roach Ravager. I think he's doing it here. Oh, is there enough? Look at the Roach reinforcement. He is more than doing it. He is going to crush through, and SpeCial is going to find himself potentially down 2-0. He's going to try and micro his heart out here. But, I mean, there's not a lot you can do against this many reinforcements. Still no tanks coming out. He's trying to just mash out Marauders. But Cham is not going to give him the opportunity. SpeCial, he's got nothing he can do.
Yeah, this is where I start staring at the player camera just to see the reactions, so I advise everyone else to do the same with me. I mean, I don't think we'll get a huge reaction from SpeCial, but as far as this game is concerned, there's not much more to say about it. I feel like it's going to be near impossible for Juanito to come back here, so let's wait for the moment for him to realize that he is down and out. Should be any second now.
I mean, he's on 3 SCVs right now. He might kill these Ravagers. But there it is, as the Roaches show up, GG is called. Damn.
There was some emotion there, a little bit of a fist, not like a fist to the air, like punch in the air a little bit. I'm not sure. And he hits a Dorito! He hits a Dorito as a celebration! Oh, perhaps the best celebration yet in the history of StarCraft 2, as Cham eats a Dorito after going up 2-0 in the series against SpeCial. Juanito, I mean, who is the biggest representative of Doritos in the StarCraft community.
That he is. Spam this Dorito to wait. No, you can't. Cham already ate it.
Damn. Brutal. That was absolutely brutal.
Looks like we're going to go into a quick little replay. Wow. Ooh, we are going to get those corrosive biles after
I think
all.
They must have landed, right? Oh, no, they didn't land.
There just wasn't enough bio.
I guess there wasn't.
Yeah, there just wasn't enough bio. There was a couple of corrosive biles that landed at the beginning.
But why? Like, I feel like he shouldn't concede that choke then. Can you rewind a little bit then? Because, I mean, that choke is his best shot. I feel like at having, like, just more units shooting with the SCV, with the SCVs holding there. Like, right there, right? Just pull the rest of your SCVs.
That Widowmine did just, like, hit a lot of SCVs as well, too. And there wasn't actually that many SCVs left.
Yeah, but you can hold this choke, no? I mean, that's a better place to fight. Maybe not.
I think you might be right. It's hard to say because he was already so far down in army supply, but man, damn, Chamaco. It's a best of 5 though, right? It is a best of 5, so it's not over yet. So I really hope that Cham didn't do that ceremony a little too early, is the only thing I'll say.
I mean, I think he has plenty of Doritos. I want to see what happens if he wins the whole thing. And whether
I hope he's got a whole bag and he just dumps it over his face.
That would be amazing.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see what happens here. It's
Stargazers.
Stargazers indeed, and we're staring down the barrel of a 3-0 again. Juanito, that might be a little bit tired. This is the kind of series that like do you want to spend the energy and the willpower and have the mental fortitude to actually come back to reverse sweep your opponent in a series like this? It's a long ways away now if it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's not gonna be easy. It is going to be extremely tough indeed. Oh, man. But at the same time, like, if you go down, you're conceding the +1 advantage in the grand finals. Cham gets it straight up over whoever he faces. And then you have to face Kelazur a little bit earlier without that easy win. Not out that... Yeah, easy win. I mean, it's a free map. It's an easy win. They just give it to you. That's how easy it is. I don't know, man. Obviously, I don't want to count out eggs entirely. That's not fair. But I'm thinking from SpeCial's perspective. He's probably feeling pretty sure that he's going to go up against Kelazur in the rematch.
Yeah, and Diego's a little bit of a beast in the TVC matchup in particular as well. He has always been. It's always been like one of his favorite matchups. And he is excellent with the multitasking and just, he destroyed Cham, right? So, yeah, I have no reason to believe that Eggs is going to pull an upset of that magnitude. I think Eggs mentioned it. He has like 0 maps won against Kelazur, which is, not ideal. So, yeah, I think it's a fair assessment. In the top right-hand side of the map, Stargazers, it is from Mexico, Juanito SpeCial. playing for System Gaming.
And his opponent from Team GP on the verge of a massive upset. Looking to close it out, it is Cham. Potentially could end up being short for champion.
It could. Cham. Yeah, definitely. Champion.
That's what he's going for.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're spot on. Charmander. I have a Charmander plushie.
Charmander. What was your favorite starter of the first of the original?
Like of the first 4 Pokemon, you mean?
Yeah, I guess Pikachu does count because Pokemon Yellow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't play the Game Boy games, but I did watch the show.
Yeah.
So that still counts. And my favorite was usually... Wait, I want to know what the chat's favorite is so that we can all type it in unison. And we can say our favorite at the same time, okay?
All right.
3, 2, 1, Bulbasaur.
Charmander. I was like, wait, are we typing it in chat? Or are we just gonna wait 2 minutes? My bad.
No.
It was Charmander.
We were saying it. Yeah, for sure.
When I was a kid, it was Squirtle, but I came around to Charmander for sure.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Yeah, I think if I had to choose today, it might have been Charmander, but you asked me which one was my favorite.
Which one was definitely Squirtle. Definitely Bulbasaur
for me, for sure, yeah.
Charmander, just because he turns into a dragon.
Oh, interesting.
You know, he's like, yeah. Even though he doesn't have the dragon type for a while, we're going to see this Reaper getting into the main base. We'll be able to find... Ooh, no. Nice save from Cham. Keeping that drone alive. SpeCial not able to get what he's looking for just yet.
And I still haven't found what I'm looking for. The Reaper is just going to have to back away. Oh, will it back away though? Chamaco closing the exit, but Juanito will make an exit of his own thanks to that grenade.
Nice.
Well done by both.
Nice grenade sneaking out of there. Third command center going to come down basically on location. One of the better parts of Stargazers. Okay, this is getting a little bit of ahead of ourselves. What do you do to break a turtling Terran on Stargazers? What is your approach?
Like a 3-base turtle?
No, like let's say it gets up to 4 base, 5 base. They're getting up to their ghosts. They've got sensor towers. You know, they're really set up. What's your solution to the problem? Or is it just like hit them when they're on 3 bases, hit them when they're on 4 bases?
I don't know. I'm usually pretty comfortable playing like a macro game in CVT. I think Broodlords are still very strong, right? So
yeah,
I don't mind like them turtling usually. If that makes any sense. I think when they turtle, like I don't know, they concede a lot of map control. There are certain Terran compositions that are really difficult to deal with, but I haven't really played it against a player that makes me feel like I had no chance in recent history. Like as far as compositions are concerned, of course, right? Like
yes,
yeah.
There's some players that they just out multitask you so hard.
Yeah,
that
exactly,
you're like, like if any of us played against Cham, or sorry, Clem, we would be
I
like,
played Clem not that long ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling. It's just a very depressing, sad feeling. Ooh, we are going to see the Reaper. Oh, the grenade kills it. Oh, that's a cool interaction.
That was pretty cool. I've never seen that actually. I think
I've never seen that. That's a 99% useless fact. Fear Dragon, get your notebook out. That's
Fear Dragon. You know? Get it. Go get it.
We found the 1% useless or useful time for it.
Yeah, that Reaper. I mean, he saved himself with a grenade and killed himself with a grenade.
Ooh, live by the D8, die by the D8.
So sad.
Or KD8? No, it's KD8 now, right?
I have no idea.
What is the actual name of the grenade?
Oh, Battle Cruiser though.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah, Fusion Core. He started up a Banshee to be safe against a potential Roach bust because that's probably the biggest risk when you're trying to rush BCs like this. I was wondering when we were going to see this. Juanito is a BC enthusiast, not quite to the level of Nathanius, but he does love his battle cruisers.
Yeah, battle cruisers are great units, underrated, and Juanito's very good with them, so we'll see what he's able to accomplish here. It makes a lot of sense on this map as well. Short air distance, right? So you can actually maybe walk the battle cruiser across. He has control of the watchtower, but Cham does have very good vision with overlords once again. So he will get a heads up, but it'll cost him some overlords as well.
Yeah, that's the potential punish from SpeCial. It will be mech behind this as well. And I will say Cham he's pretty comfortable against mech in general. He feels like the kind of player that I feel like he's well suited to going up against mech. And with the Overseer coming into the main base, he is going to see, he's going to see everything. He's going to see the Fusion Core as well. I mean, he sees the BC now, so that's his biggest tell that there's battle cruisers on the map. But so far hasn't lost too many drones. Hellion run by in the natural.
Very cool.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he's gonna go straight into the main, but beautiful Evo Chamber block there from Cham to...
Oh my god.
Lucky. I mean, one more shot from those Hellions might have been deadly for a lot of those drones. Still one Hellion in the back of the mineral line there, looking to catch some of these drones that are still pretty low. Gets a lineup, but only 4 will fall. Could have been worse. Battle Cruiser on the other side is racking up kills still, but will run out of fuel, which is essentially his HP, right? Like, that is what you have to work with the Battle Cruiser. You should never lose it, and you should always do damage. So it's just a leash of HP. If you're the third player, you want to put on as much damage as you can. And if you don't take too much damage, then you did good.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's obviously, if you can get a kill on that Battle Cruiser, you are so happy about that. And actually, where it stands right now, the Battle Cruiser is a little bit exposed. Ooh, Hellion run by into the main base again. The Lings are not out at all. There's no Lings on the map. Another nice defense. Oh god, the drones! Okay. Whoa. Gotta be so careful with that
at this point.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay, he's gonna be fine, but geez, that was close to disastrous.
Close to disastrous indeed. But really good response from Cham there, time and time again, with just just pulling the drones. I feel like Juan could have gone behind the mineral line both times though. So maybe getting baited by Cham kind of moving forward to evacuate, or maybe if he goes behind the mineral line, then Cham just follows through with the evacuation. He's fine, right? So.
Yeah, you might be right about that. Cham, he does have 1/1 upgrades. Obviously, that character.
2 sports here. This one might fall.
BC, no! The teleport starting as it dies. Oh boy.
Boy.
That's a pretty big loss, and it's going to be Swarm Host behind us. That means losing that BC is massively impactful.
Yeah, and Chamaco is making some corruptors as well to deal with the remaining BC. You do want to have a little bit of overkill in case they went for Yamato, and Juan is producing an extra BC. So, yeah, definitely want a few extra corruptors. Right now we have 3 only on the field. But yeah, if you get rid of those BCs, I mean, the Swarm Hosts are just kind of perfect right now, right? Like, there's so little to deal with the Swarm Hosts at the moment.
And they'll do so well attacking that back pocket base. It's going to be so difficult to deal with. Obviously, a Nidus Worm makes them even more powerful, especially if you can set that Nidus Worm up on the, let's say, the 3 o'clock base. Maybe even get a Nidus Worm up into the main and then pop the Locust out, and you can kind of pick your poison. You get them out on the production. Even just popping them out at the front, but just representing lots of threat is always a good move. But even without that Nidus network, this is going to be rather difficult to deal with.
Very, very difficult indeed. Some Ravagers are being made here to augment the army as well. The Swarmers are going to pop here, and they're going to find some Hellbats. So that's the best chance at a defense that Juan has right now with these Hellbats. As now the Locusts are trying to bypass the Hellbats and go straight onto the tanks, but that's not going to work out either. I almost feel like you should have just removed the layer of Hellbats first. Going in and flying into turrets as well is not going to fare well for those Locusts. So kind of wasteful, the first wave here.
Yeah, and the first wave of Locust is pretty important. Like, if it gets nothing done, it doesn't mean the game is over, not even close. And it doesn't mean you won't even get damage on the follow-up, but that's usually where they're at the most effective, is that first shock when they first show up. He's going to have another Locust wave ready to go, and he pops it immediately.
Yeah.
Scan comes in from Juanito.
Yeah, completely agreed. It has to do with the reveal to some degree, but more than that, if we look at the supply, right? Like, when the first wave launched, Juan was at like something like 150 something supply. By the time the second wave launches, he has a 170, but hold that thought. I mean, that was a great pick-off from Chamaco on the side there. Takes down the one extra base, and we see that Juanito's a little bit frazzled, perhaps making even 2 of those sensor towers on the same location.
Oh, even needing a bit of a corrosive bile, or a few corrosive biles actually, on one of the BCs. I actually really like him continuing to build BCs. Cham has not built anywhere near enough corruptors, and we already see the corrosive biles.
Oh, wow.
He almost got a kill right there. He does have to be a little bit careful. The Swarm Host will launch their Locusts. I don't know that he's going to get really any value with
he would have to go with the army behind it. I'm not sure if he's willing to do that right now, though.
Yeah, Special only ends up losing one tank. I mean, it's better than nothing, but not by much. Behind
by
this,
one time.
Hive starts up. What do you think Cham's next step is?
I think probably Vipers right off the bat are a good choice, right? Just get some Blinding Clouds out there, some Abducts, and then probably Broodlers eventually. So I think those would be the two steps. Of course, Viper being the much easier choice, not necessarily the best choice. Just, you know, you have a Hive, you might as well use a couple of 100 gas into augmenting your army like that.
It can be very effective. Blinding Clouds, the Abduct maybe on a BC. He will be able to find one of these BCs right here. The Swarm Hosts are going to... Yeah, this is actually going... What?
It's kind of working. I mean, he's going for it and he can afford it.
Yeah. Ooh, a couple of BCs do survive. Nice Yamato's on the way out from SpeCial. The BC... Did he lose any of those BCs? He's only lost 2 in the game so far, so I think he lost 1 during that engagement. 2-2 is going to complete as well for SpeCial. And he didn't get broken. No. Nice snipes right there on those Swarm Hosts.
Very nice. Yeah, tank out mostly reset. Only 1 tank at a time. And now making Thors is Juanito. So I think that move from Cham wasn't necessarily bad. It wasn't the best trade. If we look at units lost, actually Cham has lost more resources, which is not ideal when you're going Swarm Hosts. But if he can capitalize, right? If he can actually go again as he maxes out, then I don't mind it so much. And I think that's what's on his mind, seeing as he's remaxing mostly on Ling Roach again.
Yeah, we are seeing SpeCial really fixating on these BCs as a response. He's still building them now. No 3-3 on the way yet for SpeCial for his mech. And he has the money to do it, but he doesn't have much of a banked remax. So I understand that he's not doing this. Oh, these Locust waves, well, they're going to get... I don't know if they kill even a single unit right there. The Hellbat's just tanking them so easily. Meanwhile, this Hellbat run by, great work from SpeCial.
Yeah, but you gotta be careful with the battle cruisers. Teleport them now, probably. Okay, got a Yamato then teleport seems like the call there, but yeah, a lot more of those Corruptors making their way onto the field now on the side of Cham.
SpeCial has only been on 5 factories up to this point. He's just now getting his 6th and 7th. And yeah, as you said, like Cham is throwing away a lot, and whenever you're losing more resources than your opponent with Swarm Hosts, it's not necessarily the best situation. Ooh, but the Hellbats are not in position to protect these tanks. They will get in now. Only 1 tank going down, and the Hellions are going to find these Swarm Hosts on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, I can't help but to feel that Cham is over-microing a little bit on a lot of these Locust waves. Sometimes it's good to just crash them onto the first thing that they're going to crash onto, because otherwise they're taking damage as they're flying a lot of the time. So yeah, you know, you gotta be able to make those decisions, and you're also wasting actions for no reason a lot of the time. But I mean, it's kind of working out. I think that Cham still has a good probability of closing this game out. He has the greater bank. It's just all down to the 1 or 2 fights that we're gonna see remaining here, and the BCs are gonna poke into the gold again. I think the Corruptors are nearby, but nothing really to catch these BCs, right? Like not really infestors with their tongues that can catch them. And
oh my goodness, that BC survived with 6 HP. Swarm Host, they will find a couple of tanks, and he tried to target down one of the ghosts. Very interesting that it's only like 5 ghosts. Okay, he does have a few more ghosts than I. Yeah, it's still a relatively low ghost count. He is getting into +1 armor for those ghosts as well to make them a little bit more survivable. Engagement is going to come on out here.
Snipes.
Oh, Nice does get a couple of those units. I think at this point, I would love to see, like 2 burrowed infestors, just because SpeCial has been flying over creep with the BCs quite a bit. Oh, and this is a big find actually on these Swarm Hosts.
Yeah, and they have been the hard counter to the Swarm Hosts, right? Like they are the ones that are zoning out the Swarm Hosts, that are not really letting them get into the positions that they want to get into. So yeah, dealing with those would be ideal. A couple of infestors with Neuroparasite would be fantastic, but otherwise just overwhelm the BCs would work just as well. And the Ravagers can do well at that as well, right? Because you can anticipate that your opponent will want to disengage and teleport away, and then you can drop Biles, and Cham has been good at that. Wow. I've never seen that. A lot of firsts in this game.
A lot of firsts in this game. Reaper Grenade, Command Center stuff. Some weirdness right here.
Yeah, Command Center stuff is the name of that one.
Oh, these Yamatos.
Oh, sheesh.
Oh, man, that was not the fight right there for Cham. He's going to try and take the engagement. The Banelings are going to try and get in on the Hellbats before the... this actually could be good for Cham.
It was okay. I mean, I can see the thought behind it, right? Like the army was clumped up, and he actually does get great connections. The problem is he already lost a lot of his army before starting the fight in those Corruptors. Now he's making an additional 12. There's not going to be Yamato cannon available for those. So we'll see if this is going to be enough for Cham. He does have enough ground to retreat and buy himself time for the next wave of Locusts. He very much needs that.
I feel like SpeCial needs to get way the hell off creep right this moment. Oh, Corrosive Piles. Oh, man.
Where did he teleport? Did he teleport all the way back?
He did. He just left this army completely abandoned. There's no Hellbats to cover this. This army is going to get Locusted to absolute smithereens. And Cham recognizes his opportunity. He is just going to obliterate this army.
Yeah, very nice split as well on his own army to not take too much hull damage from the 1 or 2 tanks that were remaining. And he will clean this up, like you were saying. I mean, the battlecruisers kind of abandoned their people.
Yeah, and that resources lost now does, in fact, favor Cham. SpeCial, he did take a 5th base behind this, but the ability to take a 6th feels pretty tough for him. This is where I really desperately want to see like 2 to 3 infestors, not even for the neural parasites, just to fungal growth those BCs and lock them down. I really don't want to see them being able to teleport away. Oh, Raven does go down. Yamatos will come on in. The teleports are on cooldown. He is stuck in this engagement. Cham.
This might be it.
This might be it.
It's looking very good. I mean, if it's not game over, it's going to be a fantastic trade here from Cham. The next Yamato battlecruiser comes in and will take down one more Corruptor. Cham, once again, going a little bit too far onto those turrets, but he's gonna reassess and back away for the time being. This is a much better position to try and hold. The Roaches and Ravagers still doing fantastic, and the supply lead is fantastic for Cham as well as the bank in his favor. It's gonna be very difficult to lose this game. It's looking like a 3-0, and more Doritos on our screen soon, but not from the man you would have expected.
Not from the man you would have expected. SpeCial does have 3-3 on his mech. He doesn't want to throw in the towel just yet. And he feels like if he can just clear these Corruptors, he can restabilize. But we know that Cham is maxed out with a gigantic bank, and SpeCial just really doesn't have anything left in the tank. We are going to see these SCVs getting absolutely surrounded and pummeled to death. The command center of the Planetary Fortress gets obliterated. 22 SCVs have fallen, and Cham is going to pull off a massive upset in the DreamHack Masters Latin America.
Absolutely huge, and here is where we focus our attention back to the cameras of the players to see their reactions as it happens, because the game is pretty dang over.
Yeah, we've got SpeCial basically on 1 base mining. The BCs are desperately trying to keep it up, but those swarm hosts, when they decide to pop their locust waves on that south 330 base. Oh, well, are they going to go for it? No, they're going into the natural. Well, that's a little bit weird. He could have probably just gone for the planetary. But, I mean, really, there's no bad decision for Cham at this point.
Yeah, very difficult to make a bad decision right now. I mean, maybe not making any anti-air would be the only one, but
yeah.
Nah, he's got a couple Corruptors coming. That should be plenty enough. And as things scramble for SpeCial, we look to their cameras to see the reactions. I'm just saying that because that's what I'm doing, right? I'm just giving you a heads up, Steadfast. I am no longer paying close attention to the game because I actually want to see how the players take this wins and losses respectively. For Juan, it's not the end of the road, and I'm sure we'll see him bounce back. And if they play this series again, I would still heavily favor him, right? But this was a little bit of a mauling on the side of Cham, and that first game was not clean by any means or stretch of the imagination, but this one was pretty good. And the second one wasn't bad either. I mean, Cham has played a very good series to put himself in the position that he has. He has earned this victory against SpeCial, and SpeCial not with the best StarCraft of his life perhaps today. But yeah, I really don't want to take anything away from Cham, but yeah, I'm sure Juanito will bounce back too.
Yeah, I think so as well. And there it is. GG gets called.